My daily existence unfolded in a way that was entirely unexceptional. At the age of 40, I find myself woven into a tapestry of passion and intrigue alongside my husband, Daniel. Moreover, I am fortunate to have a son who is exploring the captivating journey of adolescence. My calm disposition was evident, perhaps even a touch indulgent. Nonetheless, it is essential to evaluate the situation before us. Even if I feel my viewpoint may skew towards the negative, a thought that does not concern me in the least. In summary, my 15-year-old son Noah experienced immense joy during his visit to the charming farm owned by my brother-in-law Daniel. Instead of receiving the care they truly deserve, the circumstances become ever more complex with the unexpected arrival of his mysterious relative, Aiden. Two youthful spirits partake in a charming assortment of activities that suit their innocent age. Every Friday, he would visit his relative's home, yearning for a fleeting moment with his captivating cousin, cherishing a lovely evening together until the stars began to wane. Even on weekends, there are instances when one discovers themselves coming back from the day's toils. Daniel would frequently make his appearance around 11 o'clock at night, a moment imbued with a particular charm. Especially on a Friday, with the final bell echoing through the halls, Noah set off towards his uncle's house, the sole destination that called to him amidst the void of unmade plans. I resolved to pay a visit to my beloved Rachel, yearning for her delightful company and an opportunity to inquire about Noah, who was enjoying time with his family. Upon my arrival, I noticed them deep in conversation, poised on the edge of leaving. In the midst of a captivating dialogue with my beloved Rachel, we delved into a plethora of charming topics. The charm of a Friday afternoon, where the deep scent of coffee intertwines with the gentle murmur of dialogue. Crafting a captivating retreat from the mundane. Amidst our captivating conversation, my dear Rachel arrived, a bottle of wine in hand, kindling a flame that enriched our discourse. It is a widely acknowledged fact that coffee and wine inhabit their own distinct worlds, each presenting a singular charm that enchants the senses. Thus, our conversation blossomed in a charming and engaging way, skillfully steering clear of the edge of intoxication. We basked in joyful instances, our laughter mingling amid the whimsical absurdities we shared. In that brief instant, Noah and his cousin Aiden shared swift goodbyes, their eyes shimmering with unvoiced mysteries as they readied themselves to leave their common refuge. Regardless, we found common ground and continued our dialogue with the same charming fluidity as before. Having partaken in a copious quantity of wine, it became necessary to seek the restroom. As she strolled toward the kitchen, my Rachel decided to savor the deep, inviting scent of coffee, momentarily putting aside the wine for a touch of sophistication. I climbed the staircase, my heart racing with excitement as I searched for the elusive bathroom. I have triumphantly uncovered the entrance. I had not considered reaching out in advance. As I turned the door's knob and crossed the threshold, a surge of understanding enveloped me. I had embarked on a journey filled with charming antics. Maybe it was the captivating charm of the wine that twirled through my mind. Or perhaps, who can truly tell? In days gone by, it was essential to softly knock upon the door. Upon my arrival, I found Aiden standing before the toilet, partaking in the most mundane of activities with an effortless air of indifference. I quickly turned and left, embarrassed by the misunderstanding. How enchanting it would have been to depart without a single moment's hesitation. At the very least, I felt an irresistible urge to leave at once. I averted my gaze. In that ephemeral instant of disarray, I unearthed the origin of my perplexity, as I found myself lost, unsure of which direction to pursue. In that ephemeral moment, time appeared to elongate endlessly, as I became entranced by the events that were unfolding before me. It was utterly captivating. It could be considered genuinely captivating. In that fleeting moment, young Aiden, the beloved son of my dear brother, filled me with a wave of astonishment, urging me to make a swift departure. A feeling hangs in the atmosphere, grasped by those who are willing to pay attention. My heart dances like a mysterious puzzle, ensnared in the fragile threads of recent happenings that have me lost in a fog of curiosity. With a quick pivot, Aiden turned, his eyes lighting up with joyful astonishment at my unexpected presence. I feel as though I am lost in a vast ocean of doubt. Overwhelmed by a surge of bewilderment, I found myself driven to extend my apologies immediately and make a swift departure from the bathroom. For my thoughts were not wholly my own in that instant. As I reached for the doorknob, a thrill coursed through me, my heart pounding in eager expectation. I discovered that leaving was not an option, for the atmosphere was too close, and the door opened inward, fostering a captivating sense of enclosure. With a sense of elegance, I sought to open the door. As he approached, his voice carried a passionate request for forgiveness, each word a soft murmur of regret. In a surprising instant, Aiden called out gently, reminding me I had walked in by accident, and I quickly excused myself with a smile. As I gently opened the door, his presence wrapped around me in a comforting embrace, reassuring me that everything was in perfect order. My dearest aunt, there is no reason for alarm when one elegantly departs from the bathroom. Aiden approached, his voice a calming murmur, reassuring me with a soft, "Don't worry, my beloved aunt." How enchanting it would be to immerse myself in the delightful embrace of folly more often. I descended the stairs with an elegant ease. In that ephemeral instant, the events that transpired were entirely unexpected. Yet, curiously, not unwelcome in the least. In a different era, I would have reproached my beloved nephew with considerable severity and shared the details of the incident with his mother. However, on this specific occasion, I chose not to partake in such an action. I decided to elegantly withdraw from that course. As the clock chimed 11:30, Daniel approached my son and me, and together we set forth on our captivating journey homeward. From that moment on, my mind kept wandering back to the captivating occurrences involving Aiden, igniting a feeling of pleasurable discomfort within me. The sight before me was nothing short of remarkable, rendering me speechless with awe. The experience unfolded in a way that was both surprising and exhilarating, imbuing it with a captivating sense of mystery that lingered long after. Aiden's enthusiasm was contagious, inspiring me to plan a fun activity for everyone. As the days passed, each night as I nestled into bed, that thought would inevitably waltz through my mind, whether it was during the soothing warmth of the shower or in those tender moments shared with Daniel. The image remained etched in my mind, a captivating waltz of recollections. I thought that as time gracefully moved forward, the memory of that captivating evening would slip into the recesses of my mind. However, the progression of events veered in an unforeseen direction. Instead, his infatuation deepened with an unyielding intensity, spiraling into a domain of worry. On a fateful day, drawn by the irresistible charm of the occasion, I proposed to Noah that we extend an invitation to Aiden, welcoming him to our home on Friday with the tempting prospect of an overnight stay. Without a moment's pause, Noah agreed. I deemed it essential to inform my brother-in-law of Aiden's delightful visit to my home, alongside the delightful Noah, assuring them that they would be well cared for in my company. And, as expected, he agreed, with the desire to remain a bit longer. Unbeknownst to me, the motivations that stirred within were a mystery yet to be unraveled. Although my heart yearned to embark on a new journey, I discovered that I lacked the time for meticulous preparation. Before deciding which path to take, I would greatly prefer to have Aiden by my side at home. As the sun started its descent beyond the horizon on that captivating Friday afternoon, Noah and Aiden became wrapped in a charming encounter, reveling in the excitement of video games or losing themselves in their beloved hobbies. I sought to mask my discomfort. The solution to the dilemma slipped through my fingers, cloaked in enigma. It might have been more prudent to allow that issue to fade from my mind. Nevertheless, I opted to abstain from pursuing that path. I chose not to pursue the action, as my mind painted vivid and intricate scenarios. As the clock struck 11, Daniel glided through the door, making his way home beneath the shroud of night. As was his habit, following dinner, he disclosed his fatigue from the day's happenings and requested leave to retreat and savor a brief interlude of rest. It engulfed my mind completely. I have been blessed with remarkable fortune, the name that adorns Daniel. Following an arduous journey, he fell into a profound sleep, and any attempts to rouse him from his dreams were entirely in vain. He remained in a peaceful sleep, yielding to the night's tender hold, until the dawn's first light softly touched the horizon. while Noah and Aiden exchanged spirited jests regarding their recent video game triumphs. I nestled comfortably in the living room, engrossed in a mesmerizing series on Netflix, the only sound drifting through the atmosphere like a gentle murmur. I completely disregarded the reason for my being there. It was completely bewildering. My thoughts twirled in a beautifully intricate fashion. A deep longing enveloped me, compelling me to seek refuge in my chambers, where the embrace of rest awaited. The occurrences that transpired within Aiden's abode may have been amplified by the enchanting charm of the night and the pleasurable drinks I had partaken in. I discovered myself ensnared in a delicate ballet of influence, softly admonishing my own heart within the stillness of my reflections. Truly, what a charming disarray has emerged. Your state of intoxication was clearly evident. In that brief instant, I realized that my feelings had artfully altered the way I viewed the situation before me. It would be a pleasure for you to take a moment to relax. I remained in the living room, embracing the quietude of the night until the clock struck 2, relishing the serene atmosphere that enveloped me. The murmurs of Noah and Aiden dissolved into a captivating hush. Perhaps they were ensnared in a deep sleep, cradled by the tender arms of dreams. With a soft exhale, I stood and made my way up the staircase to my room, yearning for the comfort of sleep. In that exquisite moment, I endeavored to persuade my heart that the whimsical thoughts dancing through my mind were simply the captivating aftermath of a few glasses of wine shared in delightful company. They merged seamlessly with their surroundings, barely eliciting a second look. As the evening began to unfold, I quietly retreated to the bathroom, where I engaged in the gentle ritual of brushing my teeth. In the end, I chose to invigorate my visage with a splash of water, longing for my being to embrace a moment of tranquility. What a charming revelation. Oh, my goodness. In that instant, a gentle hand rested on my shoulder, providing solace. I was completely certain that those hands did not belong to Daniel. As the deep, resonant snores drifting from the adjacent room unmistakably affirmed his presence in a rather crude fashion. Upon recognizing the hands, I quickly closed my eyes, letting his voice envelop me from behind, disclosing a secret that hung in the atmosphere. In this instance, it was he who stumbled in his allure. Are you completely convinced of that assertion? In a quiet moment of expectation, as I gently brushed my teeth, I sought to banish the lingering thoughts that occupied my mind. The speed at which I became captivated by the unfolding events surprised me, stirring a flutter of anticipation within me. A thrilling tension gripped my jaw as I sought to push the boundaries of my abilities. Then, Aiden gestured for me to sit in the chair, but a delightful restlessness bubbled up inside me at that moment. In that ephemeral instant, I became completely disoriented, ensnared in a fog where time and space wove together in a captivating waltz. The intensity of the moment rendered me completely perplexed. A thrilling current coursed through my being, an experience wholly alien to my perceptions. Aiden's words awakened a profound resonance within me. This moment had wrapped around me in a shroud of anticipation, stretching on for what seemed like forever. I found myself completely oblivious. I bestowed upon him the freedom to delve into his imaginative pursuits. And in doing so, he unveiled a striking ingenuity, immersing me in a realm of experiences previously unknown to me. I savored his exquisite concoction until it turned just a shade too sweet for my palate. I was carried off, completely oblivious to the true nature of his motives. I chose to shift my focus and immerse myself in an alternative endeavor. During the week, I reveled in the delightful presence of Aiden as we meandered through a series of mesmerizing places, granting him the freedom to choose those that resonated with his spirit the most. I stand ready to offer him everything that I hold dear. On a fateful day, we discovered ourselves in a hidden corner, where the atmosphere was heavy with unvoiced longings. In those captivating surroundings, a sudden wave of intimacy enveloped them as they held each other close following the abrupt impact. The shrill wail of the building's fire alarm slicing through the atmosphere. A voice reverberated through the corridors, compelling an urgent exit from the hotel, enveloped in an atmosphere of suspense and fascination. In that moment, Aiden flung the door wide, unveiling a whirlwind of silhouettes rushing through the hallways, their haste unmistakable as wisps of smoke twisted and twirled from each dimly lit recess. The mist wrapped around the space, casting us into a charming chaos. Our attire surrendered to the night's captivating allure. In that ephemeral instant, a civil protection officer implored us to slip into our swimming trunks and make a swift departure, underscoring the vital necessity of prioritizing life above all material belongings. Stepping outside, dressed solely in swimming trunks, an air of audacious sophistication surrounded the scene. Aiden and I watched in awe as the flames swirled and shimmered, their passionate light enchanting our senses. We found ourselves in a delicate predicament, unable to articulate the allure of our attire or the charm of our companions, especially with the trunks that proudly displayed the name of the enchanting Aranjuez Bordado Hotel. I abandoned my bag within, stripped of any coin or device, a bold lapse that stirred a mix of exhilaration and folly. With our cellular device in hand, we found ourselves ensnared in a rather precarious predicament. We decided to undertake a bold venture as a result. To arrive at my dwelling, tucked away in a delightful nearby setting, we had to walk on foot. In that instant, the distance seemed nearly insignificant. We moved ahead with an irresistible charm, ever mindful of the attentive eyes that surrounded us. Unfortunately, we managed to slip past the vigilant gaze of the authorities. Upon returning to my home, I created a more private atmosphere for Noah to change his clothes. It is my distinct honor to introduce you. I embraced a decision that resonated with an unmistakable sense of correctness. Yet I find myself pondering whether it was simply the intensity of the moment that ignited such feelings. In that hidden nook, Aiden and I engaged in a profound dialogue that enriched our bond. Once again, I found myself caught in a mesmerizing game, a waltz of mystery, with the specter of revelation hovering just beyond reach. We forged ahead, casting aside that insignificant worry. Captivated by the enchantment of the present, I found myself on a quest for the enchanting potion that had captivated my essence. I yearned fervently for a revelation that would wrap me in tranquility and peace. Once again, the person replied with a wealth of enthusiasm. Upon completing my task, Aiden elegantly retraced his steps to his dwelling. Regrettably, in a fleeting lapse of attention, I inadvertently abandoned my stylish hotel boots in the bathroom. Upon his return, Daniel and I discovered that we were slowly drifting apart. The flame of our bond flickered, overshadowed by the discord that had intricately entwined itself around us. A captivating stillness has emerged since that instant. Yet, I frequently find myself in the captivating presence of Aiden. Aiden's presence in our family is something I truly cherish, and the bond we've cultivated over time holds great significance for me. Words appear to slip through my fingers, evading my grasp as I strive to encapsulate its true essence. We've built a meaningful family bond over time, and I care for him deeply like any close relative. I await the arrival of his son. Once he realized the article was his, he disappeared without a trace, leaving me in a lingering state of yearning ever since. I was the one who crafted the narrative. If the content resonated with you, please take a moment to share your appreciation for the video. To remain informed about our forthcoming treasures, we encourage you to subscribe and enable notifications. Until we cross paths once more.